This your boy Atlantic City, and this time we're taking a look at David Schumacher. And since we don't have that much footage to work with, I figure I might as well dive into David's past and dig a little bit into his chat log. Now, I've seen David's segment on To Catch a Predator a lot of times over the years, as I'm sure most of us who's even watching this video has. And, well, most of us know the line, "I happen to know law enforcement." Yeah, so I knew he had a little bit of a criminal past, but, you know, I didn't know just how well David knew law enforcement. But apparently, the then 22-year-old faced 12 charges in connection with various alleged crimes. Now, David Wesley Schumacher was charged in connection with a January stabbing, resulting in possibly the most serious charge of the 12 that he has accumulated since November. Schumacher, 22, was charged with principal to attempted second-degree murder, an armed robbery for his alleged role in the stabbing, as well as one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in connection with another incident. Attempted second-degree murder. According to a Punta Gorda Police Department report, a man was stabbed 3 times during a robbery at the Pines apartment complex in Punta Gorda on January 4th. The victim told police he was sitting at a table in a gazebo inside the complex when 2 men approached him and demanded his money. He told them he had none, the report said, and one punched him in the face. The 2 then took his wallet, then one held him while the other stabbed him in the back. The report said the victim was able to run to a friend's apartment. You fucking bitch! David, you fucking bitch! You can't even stab a motherfucker in his chest. You can't even stab that motherfucker while you're looking at him. You gotta stab a motherfucker while you in his back? You a fucking bitch, David! Jacob Evan, 21, was arrested Thursday. We don't give a fuck about Jacob Evan, but it's not that long. So, Jacob Evan, 21, was arrested Thursday and charged with attempted second-degree murder and armed robbery in connection with the incident. In an interview with police, Schumacher admitted to being with Evan the day of the incident, but denied that a stabbing occurred. The PGPD reported. A witness, however, told police that Schumacher fled to her apartment after the incident looking for a place to hide. Schumacher was also charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for allegedly waving a 2x4 on a person's lawn January 28th while making threats, a Charlotte County Sheriff's report said. Schumacher has been at the Charlotte County Jail since January 29th on charges of tampering with a victim, 2 counts of battery and 4 counts of violation of probation. Original charges: battery and resisting an officer without violence. On November 22nd, he was charged with a sex offense against a child between the ages of 12 and 15 and soliciting a child via computer after being caught in an online predator sting in Fort Myers in April 2006. Charges in Lee County were dropped, and Schumacher was charged in Charlotte County after it was determined that the alleged crimes would have occurred in Charlotte County. And for their case, he received 4 years and 7 months in prison. So, after being cast on To Catch a Predator, let's put it that way, David Schumacher, just 10 months later, 9 months later, was waving 2x4s on people's lawns, attempting to make a threat. He stabbed somebody. Attempted murder. This man is fucked. He's fucked. There's no saving David Schumacher. He's done. He's donezo. Okay? There's no saving David Schumacher. David Schumacher is a lost cause. Clearly. So, let's dig a bit into his chat log before looking at his footage. So, David's username, was Freebird72,000. Let's see how long they talked before he met. So, April 19th, 2006 at 12:14 a.m. was the first contact that Schumacher had with the decoy. So let's see how long until he met, or the last interaction with the decoy was. So, April 21st, and his last thing he said was bring a towel at 1:12 p.m. on January 21st. So 2 days, 3 days. We are going to go straight to the pool, so bring a towel. We are leaving now. My sister is bringing 2 babies. That's right, his sister had the 2 babies. Man, this motherfucker. I mean, I know it. I don't think the sister knew or anything, but like when she was on the show, like I don't think she seemed that surprised. You know? But let's see. The first thing David says to the decoy: "What part of Florida are you from, girl?" "Southern. ASL 21. Well, that's a little bit of Cody Green, man. I gotta get in my David voice. How does that motherfucker talk again? Role playing, chat room, dude. All right, let's see. What can I do? 21 male, Southwest Florida. You know what? Fuck this. I'm not about to read this whole thing. Shit. Why am I starting at the top? So he's asking where. So from the very beginning, he wants to know where this girl is. He probably kind of already, I'm guessing, already knows how old the girl is. But if he doesn't, okay, whatever. We're not gonna sit here and fucking argue that shit forever. So the first thing he wants to know from the decoy, he doesn't even say, hey, what's up? Hi, buddy, what's up? He says, what part of Florida you from, girl? He wants to know where her location is. Shit. So, I'm going to just scroll until I see some blue text. I see none. There's no blue text. You assholes. Alright. Okay, so I can read the April 20th. That seems appropriate right now. The April 20th, 2006 interaction, because it wasn't very long. Mainly because it didn't start until 11:44 p.m. Well, I mean, the decoy did put a capital D smiley face at 6:23, but David here was playing hard to get. He didn't respond until 11:44 p.m. That's 2 44s. I wasn't repeating myself here. And so, you know, and it goes on into April 21st at midnight, but we're not going to go that far. So let's just see what this April 20th conversation was like. So at 11:44, David would say, "Hey, baby." "Hi. So what you been doing all day, girl?" "Nothing much, you?" "Smoking." "LOL. It's 4:20, baby." "Hee hee. Share? Question mark. You wouldn't. You only did it once." "I wouldn't? Question mark. Yeah, so you wanna? LOL. So I know you got some more pics of you for me? Question mark. Hee hee. I showed you all of them already. I could send you them, but your Internet Explorer don't work. So what you wearing?" "Clothes. Capital D smiley face." "Are they sexy clothes, girl?" "Not really. It's just my jammies." What kind of panties you wearing? Cotton. Just regular bikini ones. What you wearing? Boxers underneath. What kind of underwear you like your boys to wear? Underneath what? I don't care, as long as they're not mine, LOL. Can I get underneath yours? LOL. Be right back. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to read any more of this man's chat log because just from that little bit of portion of the chat log, we already know where his mind is, what he wanted, what his intent was. We don't need to go any further. We don't need to waste any more time in this man's chat log. We may or may not eventually get to his chat log in Saturday Night Chat Log. So we might do that eventually. But right now, we're going to go ahead and get into the video because, okay, you know, well, before that, I'm going to take I'm going to pick apart a couple of these things, I guess. I might as well. But, like, you got some more pics for me, so he wants to see the pictures. He's asking, are they sexy clothes? So, I mean, why would you ask a 13-year-old girl if she's wearing sexy clothes? And then even worse, he goes, what kind of panties you wearing? Okay, there's no excusing that. Even in the video, he says he came to take the girl to a party, dude. You know? Okay, yeah, if you just wanted a date to a fucking party, I don't think you would have asked what kind of panties you were wearing, because that would probably be the question you would ask at the party. Okay? Alonzo Wade would probably ask what kind of panties she was wearing at the party. Not David. What kind of underwear you like your boys to wear? So now he's trying to figure out what kind of underoos he should wear tomorrow, the next day, or whatever the day the fucking party is that he, you know. So he wants to know what kind of underwear she likes on boys. You know, fuck this motherfucker, man. We're done with the chat log. Let's get rid of this ugly fuck and put up this. And let's take a look at David fucking Schumacher.
I don't want to be on the news, dog.
Well, it's a little late for that, dog.
Okay, yeah, I don't actually have like a David Schumacher footage, so I got the Fort Myers. So I'm gonna just dig around.
I want to interview.
Yeah, he's kind of at the beginning here.
I want to interview.
If I ever knew about this, I would go to jail.
He confessed to everything. He knew that she was underage.
Oh, no. He brought his son with him. He's got his child with him.
Y'all want to interview? Hey, how y'all doing?
That shit has always stood out to me. Like, he was so defensive and shit. Like, he's putting his fucking shirt on his face and covering it up, putting his hat on, trying to cover his face and shit like a dumb shit. Like a dumb fuck. Like his face wasn't already being recorded. Like, they revealed it was a show. Like, I don't ever understand why these people think like that they weren't filming before the motherfucking crew came out with the cameras. You know, before Chris Hansen revealed that it was a show. I don't know why these stupid fucks like David Schumacher think that this whole fucking interaction beforehand, before the cameras came out, wasn't fucking filmed. But
tonight, the strangest rate of suspects you've ever.
Shit, I don't ever understood why he got so he was so defensive and shit. Like he didn't want to do it. He was covering his face, and then all of a sudden it's, hey NBC, what's up NBC? How y'all doing NBC? Y'all want to interview NBC? Role playing chat room, dude. Like he was all ready to give an interview and then talk on the fucking camera, but before that he was. I don't know. Did he think he was fucking with Fox at first or some shit? I just.
Seen
NBC again.
On To Catch a Predator. We've been investigating the national.
Shut up, Stone Phillips. We're not here for you today.
15-year-old he's been chatting online with for the last week and a half.
Hey, I just had to change my shirt real quick. Change my shirt.
Okay, so you're good. We're trying to make contact and get enough.
I think David's right after Mike.
Okay.
Do it.
I mean, I kind of brushed through this shit a little bit.
Watch Eric typing.
Kind of figure out where everything was. I don't know the exact points.
Previous investigation.
Behind him. Gotta say it.
And bail is set.
So it'll be a composite bond of $40,000. That's all.
Get up on 4. The gold car coming down is our boy.
Here we go, David Schumacher.
After previous investigations in 4 different states, we've seen and heard some strange things. But even we were surprised at what we found here in Florida.
All I gotta say is, ain't nothing going on.
I think that's our, I think that's gonna be our thumbnail.
On here, dude. Nothing funny going on here.
Nothing funny, yes.
Coming up, a suspect comes knocking while his sister and her kids wait in the car. How will he explain that one?
Your poor sister's waiting outside with 2 babies in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, let's go, man. We're trying to go to the party, bro. This motherfucker, man.
To catch a predator.
I gotta say,
Field weapon. Bird.
gotta say is, ain't nothing going on here, dude. Nothing funny going on
It was something they said that I was supposed to talk about, and I forgot what I was going to talk about.
here.
Coming up, a suspect comes knocking while his sister and her kids wait in the car. How will he explain?
Oh yeah, the fucking how will he explain? Like, that's got to be a fucking conversation for David right there.
Your poor sister's waiting outside with 2 babies in the car?
Yeah.
When To Catch a Predator continues.
Here he comes.
Our 13 cameras are in place and rolling, including one high up in a palm tree. We're able to spot a potential predator's car long before he gets to our house.
This is our boy.
The man walking in our back door is 21-year-old David Schumacher, screen name Freebird 72000. He's been chatting online with a decoy posing as a young teen named B.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock.
Hey, come on in.
Our 19-year-old actress, the decoy playing B, invites him in.
You can try one of my cookies. They're so
Did
good.
you make them?
Yeah, I made them myself.
All right, I eat one.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's alright. I eat one. He doesn't want no store-bought cookies. But look at this motherfucker, man. He just automatically reaches for the remote. Like, he's like waiting for the decoy to come out and go to the fucking party. He grabs the fucking remote like he's gonna watch. What is he gonna watch? Is he gonna watch Fear Factor? I mean, that was cool in 2006. Was he gonna watch, hoping an episode of Fear Factor was on or some shit? Like, what the fuck? This guy just reaches for the remote, grabs the remote, picks that bitch up. Sister waiting in the car, 2 babies. They got a party to go to, a birthday party. He's supposed to be picking up the decoy to go to a party. That's his story. That's what he tells to Chris Hansen. But here he is, grabbing the remote control, the universal remote, possibly, to change the channel on said television. What? I don't get that shit. That shit always bothered me, man. When I watched David's footage, that's one thing that always stood out to me, was he just fucking grabbed that remote. It's not like he was waiting for 5 minutes, you know, bored. He was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch TV. No, he just, as soon as he waltzed in that bitch, he grabbed that bitch. Like, I guess he ain't saw nothing on TV in like 2 years or something. He must don't have no TV.
Online, he invites the girl, who told him she was 14 and a virgin, to a birthday party. And from his online chat, it appears he has his sights on a party for 2.
I want to be your first, baby.
Okay.
You gonna put my in your mouth? 'Cause I like that.
I guess I can try it.
Just let me drive, baby. I'll show you heaven.
He goes on to talk about having different kinds of sex with the virgin, and then gets almost poetic.
Do you want to make love or for your first time?
What's the difference?
Is just raw passion, and making love is a connection of bodies, I guess.
Freebird 72000 also mentions online that he's going to bring marijuana.
Did you bring some green?
No, we're gonna smoke some though. We're gonna get some.
Cookies are good munchies.
Now, you ain't tell me your parents rich. What do they do for a living?
Hey, why don't you have a seat right over there?
How you doing?
Good, how are you? What's happened?
I don't think David here saw that coming.
Like so many of the men who walk into this house, the man sits and answers questions. He can't figure out if I'm the girl's father or a police officer. And remember, he has no idea he's being videotaped.
What's going on?
You tell me what's going on.
You a dad or something?
What are you doing here?
I'm David. How you doing?
David, I'm Chris. Nice to see you. How's everything?
Good. Chilling. Birthday party.
So the girl here...
It seems like that face right there, he kind of was like, oh. He kind of realized.
What's going on?
He kind of already knew. When Chris walked out, he kind of already knew that he was in a fucked up. He kind of fucked up, but I think once it...
You tell me what's going on.
You a dad or something?
What are you doing here?
I'm David. How you doing?
David, I'm Chris. Nice to see you. How's everything?
Right there, he's kind of like... I mean, he kind of probably already registered to him that he fucked up, but I think now it's starting to set in that face that he made there.
Chilling. Birthday party.
So the girl here was going to go with you to the birthday party.
Who are you?
I'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
What's your date's name for the party?
B.
B.
It's like at that exact time he fucking said that shit, he realized how fucking stupid that name was. He's like, B. Damn, how did I realize this shit before?
B.
B. And how old is B?
I don't know. She didn't really tell me.
But she did tell him. Online, she typed her age, 14.
So, I'm not even bothered.
Female, South Florida. And he said, what would your parents say about you talking to someone as old as me? Then Freebird seems to worry I'm a cop.
You seem like law enforcement. I happen to know law enforcement.
You do. So you're an expert in this area.
No, I'm just saying, you come off as law enforcement.
Really? You know how you come off?
How's that?
Somebody who's very nervous. Somebody who came over here to have sex with a 14-year-old girl.
14-year-old?
I'm tempted to make that the thumbnail, but I mean, I think pretty much everyone would rather the fucking shirt pulled up thumbnail over that. So, whatever. But 13-year-old, like 14-year-old or whatever the fuck it was, I don't even remember. This shit was like 15 seconds ago. I don't even remember what they just said. Fucking 13-year-old, like, I mean, I don't know how he thought that was gonna convince anybody. I don't know how he thought that shit was convincing. He clearly didn't practice that one.
I read him some of what he said online.
Are you sexy naked? Have you ever
See, now I mean, before, because when he said a 13-year-old, I don't think Chris knew exactly what was said in the chat log. I mean, I think he thought, I mean, he already asked that, was that, are you our dad or something? So he clearly kind of already thought that this may just be the father. But once the chat logs pulled out, I think he realizes it's a little bit of a deeper level of shit that he's done stepped in. And that he knows exactly what's said. And if he has the chat log, what else does he have?
played with yourself? You gonna put my in your mouth?
And I like
because I like that. I'll teach you.
And you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say it makes it look like you came here.
I didn't come here. I came
to
pick
have
her up.
sex.
No, you did come there. You're there right now, David.
With an underage girl.
We were in a role-playing chat room, dude.
And what role were you playing exactly here?
People play roles, man. Anytime, never asked role.
If you've never seen any of my previous videos before, back in the day, I used to roam the chat rooms of MSN chat, and yeah, I don't remember role-playing chat rooms. I don't remember those at all. I mean, I'm sure they existed for this man to even know what to fucking, you know, I mean, it's not like David's the only guy here that knows, I mean, that has said role-playing chat room, dude. I mean, he didn't say it, not everyone said it like that, but someone we just looked at not too long ago said it was a role-playing chat room. I think it was Michael Gentile from Hanson vs. Predator. I believe he was the one that said it was a role-playing chat room, and that was 10 years later in 2016. So it's even less believable for Michael Gentile. But let's see what David's talking about.
Playing people just talk. My God, dude. Is this some kind of hold up, man? You got a warrant? Because, I mean, if the girl don't want to come and if you got a problem.
A warrant? What are you, a defense lawyer now?
I'm saying, man. You don't got no cause to hold me. I got no problem sitting here to talk to you.
Right? Okay.
He sticks to the story that he's here to take the girl to a party, but it turns out he didn't come here alone. Waiting outside in the car
13.
is his sister and her 2 young children. He says his sister was going to drive them to the party.
Yeah.
And your poor sister's waiting outside with 2 babies in the car?
Yeah. So,
because you had to come over here and have
Yeah, so let's go, Chris.
sex for the 14-year-old.
I didn't come over here to have sex.
Why would you put that sister of yours
I didn't come over here to have sex. I come over here to get the girl and go to the party, dude.
We learn his sister apparently didn't know he was trying to meet an underage girl.
You know what? I kind of got to give credit to David because in his defense, at least with Chris, I guess, is that, yeah, he came to get the girl to go to the party. He had his sister out there waiting. They were supposed to go to the birthday party. Yeah, all fine and dandy. That's a good little bit of, you know, kind of a backup story or an excuse or whatnot. But what happens when she got to the party, David? That's where things change for me, because once he gets to that party, that's when the sex acts would have occurred. That's when what he talked about in his chat log, that's when he would have followed through. At the party, dude.
Later, you'll find out what happens when I tell him I'm with Dateline.
Nothing funny going on here.
There are more,
It's somewhat suspicious.
as you'll see, import about his age. Back. In fact,
When
Did the owner of the house?
So we're gonna try to shout out to the cowboy. Shout out. We're gonna try to find David here. Oh, don't tell me he's in part 2. Don't tell me. Don't tell me it's in the second part. Don't you do it. Don't. There it is, I think.
been caught in a Dateline undercover investigation. This man, the 45-year-old truck driver who made plans online to meet a girl who told him she was 14, has nothing more to say.
You're obviously free to walk out that door that you came in.
I will do that. Thank you.
But he won't get very far.
Get down! Get your ass on the ground now!
Fort Myers police are ready to make the arrest.
Do everything you're told, you will not get hurt.
He's taken away in an unmarked police car and brought to a transfer station.
Spread your legs out.
He's searched, put in another car, and transported to jail. Meanwhile, back at our...
There we go. Shout out to David, man. There was a dude in school back in the day, man. His name was David. Everyone used to just call him David to piss him off. He used to hate that shit.
Our house, another man thinks he has his own solution to being exposed on national television. Remember the 21-year-old who duped his sister into driving him to meet a girl who said she was 14?
We're doing a story on adults.
Don't you fucking interrupt, Chris.
Who try to meet kids on the internet.
Hey man, I don't want to be on the news. You feel me?
We are filming.
I don't want to be on the news, dog.
Well, it's a little late for that, dog. Now, if there's anything else you want to tell me...
He quickly comes up with a disguise. And as far as interviews go, this may be a television first.
All I gotta say is, ain't nothing going on here, dude. Nothing funny going on here.
Nothing funny going on.
No, if the girl's really 14, then I go, but...
She told you she was 14.
See, we were in the role-playing chat room, dude.
You know how many times I hear that?
Am I being held up here?
You're not being held up. You're free to walk out that same door you walked in.
Do y'all want to interview? Hey, how y'all doing?
Okay, so after he's told that he can leave, that's when he's willing to give an interview, because he thinks, I'm guessing in his own mind that he thinks that so Chris tells him it's not a holdup. So before he's on TV, he doesn't want to kind of like incriminate himself, I guess. He doesn't want to incriminate himself. So he comes up with a disguise, as Chris would say. But then after Chris tells him it's not a holdup, he's willing to talk. So I'm guessing he's under the impression, the false impression, that he's not under arrest. So he might as well talk. He might as well try to clear his name. So let's see what he has to say.
Okay. How y'all doing? NBC?
NBC.
NBC. And you're
Chris Hansen.
All right,
Dateline NBC.
Let me explain something to NBC for a second here. I don't know what kind of rap y'all got on people, but maybe y'all can get the whole story because this girl is in a role-playing chat room.
He's clearly nervous he's nervous as fuck right now. Just look how he's talking. He's very camera shy. As it appears, he's very camera shy. At least right here.
Whose house is this? Can I smoke this shit?
No,
right
you
now?
can't smoke this.
I didn't think so.
I can.
You can smoke outside.
All right.
He's like, fuck this shit, I'm out, I can't smoke. I'm gone.
Dude, whatever.
He decides to go out the front door.
Run into the car. Move.
But that doesn't stop detectives from
He thought he was gone. He thought he had it.
catching him and placing him under arrest. And when he shows up at the transfer station, police search him, and he keeps talking.
Y'all thought y'all was gonna get some green and Hey, NBC, 2 words, role playing chat room, dude, because the girl was role playing, man.
We checked
So that's what she was doing.
with Perverted Justice, and we're told he met the decoy in a Florida romance room, not a role-playing chat room.
What's that for you?
Got him. What's that for your pedophile thing? I love that cop.
For your pedophile thing?
Yeah.
And the transcripts
Just tells him, yeah.
of his online chats and phone calls were enough for police to charge him with a felony.
Good, because when I get found not guilty, I'm sue somebody.
Even after he's placed in the police
Bitch, you don't even know a lawyer, much less know how to fucking find a lawyer.
car, he goes on talking.
I'm not guilty, man. Do I look like I need 14-year-old girls? I don't need 14-year-old girls, dude. I got all kind of girls.
And he has even more to say when he's brought to the jail.
Yeah, I wonder how many girls he's got now.
NBC again. How y'all doing, NBC?
He says this shit like NBC gives a fuck about him. They don't give a fuck about their actors that they hire for their fucking shows that they cancel. You think they give a fuck about you?
It turns out there was at least one thing he said earlier that turned out to be true.
I happen to know law enforcement.
He has quite a long rap sheet. In
That top picture was David? What the fuck?
2002, he led police on a high-speed chase in a stolen car. He was also convicted of grand theft and trying to sell the stolen goods. And twice, he was convicted of battery. Back at the transfer station, police are searching suspects' vehicles.
I think it's the Coffin 1012.
This car belongs to the 31.
Alright, so we're done with David. We've seen David. And based on his lengthy rap sheet, I think it's safe to assume that David would have definitely followed through with what his intentions were, what he came here to do, what he planned to do, what he talked about doing with the decoy, what he showed up to do. Now, he may have very well planned to take that decoy to the party. But I'm certain, I'm confident that the things that he talked about in his chats would have been followed up through at the party. That's where they would have took place had David had his way. Had David got to do what he wanted to do that day. Had he not met Chris Hansen. What do you think about David? Now, I don't know. You know, the thing is, though, and, you know, I don't know if he was, let me know, if he was found with child porn on his computer, but he doesn't take me as the guy that's got child porn on his computer. I mean, he's a fucked up individual. He's clearly a criminal, and I think he would have definitely followed through on what he talked about doing, like I said, but is he attracted to children? Is that the case with David here? Because, and that's ultimately what he ended up on the show for, and why I'm talking about him right now in the first place. But was he attracted to children? That is the question, because he doesn't really seem, and it doesn't really come off to me like he's genuinely attracted to children, and it more so seems like a situation that he was just kind of fishing and kind of took whatever he could get, I guess. But at the same time, it's, you know, I mean, he would have definitely followed through. He would have definitely, I think he would have definitely done what he wanted to do, and that, you know, I mean, he showed up to the house. That automatically makes him a fucking predator. To follow up on his conversations, but and yeah, I think he would have definitely did what he came here to do, but I don't know if he's attracted to children. That's something that didn't really cross my mind until we got to the end of this. Because I mean, I don't think he is, but I kind of do. I kind of think he is. I don't know. Huh. I think this is a fucked up guy. He's gonna probably at some point in his life do something where he's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. I mean, the man's already attempted murder, and there's no telling what would have happened had the decoy not complied, had the decoy not went through with what they talked about. I mean, he might have choked her, he might have, you know, broke the skull, he might have raped, he might have, I mean, there's no telling, especially with his rap sheet. There's no telling what this man was capable of doing had it not been Chris Hansen at the house, and had it been an actual 13, 14-year-old girl named B. And thankfully, and fortunately for To Catch a Predator, we'll never have to know what would have happened had they not been there. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Probably spent longer than I should have on David here. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about David? He's probably one of the more notable guys to, you know, grace To Catch a Predator. So I'm sure most, you know, even people that aren't true, real fans of To Catch a Predator have probably seen this guy. So, you know, what do you think? What do you think about David Schumacher? Let me know, and I'll catch you next time. This was your boy Atlantic City. I'm getting the fuck out of here and fuck David Schumacher.